The F5C is one of the most bought War Thunder premiums. It is often considered one of the best gunfighters at its BR, and it has great flight performance, especially at high speeds. So when people talk about its CAS capabilities, a lot of players who have never even played it, or have played it but only play in Araby, might say it's just non-existent, which is fair. This aircraft sitting at 10.3 lacks a lot of things that other US fighters at the same BR have. This includes the AGM-65 Maverick, the AGM-62 Walleye. It doesn't have any sort of guided weaponry. But something the F5C has that other aircraft don't have is a lot of payload, and it's a very nimble platform. Comparing it to another nimble platform at the same BR is the F8 Crusader. The Crusader does not have any sort of guided weaponry, minus the M-Class AGM-12B, and it carries a lighter payload than what the F5C can deliver. The F5C is capable of carrying the 2,000-pound bomb in the center pylon. It can carry 1,000-pound bombs on the next wing pylons, and it can carry 750-pound bombs on the outermost pylons. So you could essentially carry a 2,000-pounder, 2,000-pounders, and then two 750-pounders if you wanted to. Now, I find the most success with the 3,000-pounders or a mixed loadout with the 500s and the 2,000s. You can also carry the AGM-12B bullpup. You can carry 4 of them, and then also a centerline bomb, normally being a 2,000 or 1,000-pound bomb. So you get a lot of options for CAS. So it actually is a platform that you could bring out into Ground RB and have some success with. Now, I will say the lack of guided ordnance will hurt you in an up tier. There's no great way to take out AA. You run into things like Strelas, OSAs, and even down-tiered 2S6s and whatnot. Especially if you run it in a 10-7 lineup, which is where most tech tree US MBTs and other vehicles sit at. Now, I will say the F5C does shine in a role if you want to run it for anti-air or anti-CAS. Running it alongside something like maybe the A10A early if you have the A10 as well, or the A6 Tram, and using it to take out enemy fighters and enemy strike aircraft. That's also an option. Now, I will say the F5C can retain a lot of its airspeed, especially if you don't pull any high AOA or high G maneuvers. And keep in mind, you don't get a CCRP or CCIP for your bombs or rockets. I haven't really talked much about the rockets on the F5C because they're borderline fairly useless unless you're really good with rockets. You do get the Zunis, but I find them, since they're so far mounted along the wing, they're mounted right next to the AIM-9Es, that it oftentimes is hard to actually aim them. Not to say that you can't find some success. You also do get the FFAR Mighty Mouse rockets, but it is again harder to aim, especially because no computer for them. As far as I'm concerned, the F5C is definitely not winning any sort of CAS reward, but given the fact that it's 10.3, has a lot of bomb payload, a lot of good options, can carry the AGM-12B, it might be worth taking out and testing with. Obviously, if it's all you have, make it work. I mean, the F5C is still one of the most bought premiums in War Thunder, so I can almost guarantee that players who buy the F5C and then switch to ground and grind ground or ground mains trying to get into air and have bought the F5C, they might be curious on how it can perform in CAS, and it actually can do quite well. I will say the AGM-12s do take some getting used to. I would have loved to have included more clips of me using them in this video, but I had a bunch of files corrupt, so you really only got one that was mediocre. But the reality of it is the AGM-12B is a very capable weapon system. You just need to learn how to use it, and once you learn how to use it, it'll perform amazingly. And then, your bombs, just once you learn how to drop them properly and don't, blow yourself out of the sky, they perform very well. Anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Do you think the F5C can be a very good CAS option? Do you think people should just not bring it into Ground RB whatsoever? My take is if you have it, use it. Figure out how to make it work. Figure out what loadout. You have so many different options with different bombs, rockets, missiles. Let me know what works for you guys down below in the comments. If you guys are not already subscribed, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.